Hey guys, Nick from Surf Fishing in SoCal. Today we're gonna talk about reading the surf, and I'm gonna hit a couple different spots along the beach. You might actually see this video end up being a couple different locations on different days, but I really wanted to make the most of this video because it's one of the things that most people want to spend a lot of time on, and they just can't seem to get it down without really in-person kind of education and experience. But I think we've got some pretty good examples here. So right here, this is a super good example of a really good looking spot. Out here, nothing, really flat, not much going on. I'll leave it there for a little bit. Okay, as we pan left here, look at this. So this, we can see right where that wave just passed over, is a deep spot. And up until that point, it's really shallow, and you can kind of see the difference in coloration. But look at that, you can almost see through to see the sand, and then it deepens. You see the wind ripples on top. I call them wind ripples, but they're not wind ripples. They're actually due to the deeper water and the deeper terrain. Look at it, it dipped under there. Did you see how the wave kind of rolled over it? So that is basically, you got sand here and then it dips down in the water, it's there. And then the fish like to hang out there because a lot of times all that sand you see getting pulled up, there can be sand crabs in there that are getting pulled right over the edge as the edge kind of deteriorates, and it gets sucked into the trough, which is the deep pocket there. And allows all the fish hiding out in there to feed on them. So really good example of just structure that you can find. And I don't know what I'd call this really. It looks just like a deep pocket. You could say trough, but this is just a really money looking spot. I mean, it just looks like there's so much going on. There's definitely some sort of deep pocket there, maybe a little diagonal trough out there, a little deep pocket here, and then just all sorts of deepness going on there. And again, as we go out there, it's really flat, not much going on. Really flat over there, you can see the difference there. So right here, I was actually fishing earlier today. I didn't have any GoPro on or whatnot, but really good, I don't know, maybe 10 perch in an hour or so. So yeah, not bad at all. Nothing but perch right now. It is early May, but that's just today. We've had plenty of Corbina, croaker, and yellowfin, but and again, as we go out there, you can actually see it's another deep pocket. But the really easy part to see is right here. I mean, that's very straightforward. Look for stuff that looks like this, and you can't really go wrong. And sometimes the fish won't bite, and that's just how it is. But this is going to be the highest percentage spot to fish. We'll kind of walk in here and show you a little closer look. It might look confusing this close, but you can really see a drop off and all these ripples. So if we look through here, it drops off right there, if we can see that. Oh man, this just looks so good. That's what you want to look for. So a little more on reading the surf. Right in front of me, we've got flat sand in front here, and then it dips down a couple times for a few little troughs. Right here we're getting closer, but so check out right under that wave right now. You can see again the wind ripples that I call them. Just keep looking, and as the water recedes, you really start to see almost outlines of every single piece of terrain there. So it's a really, I mean, in this case, not too foggy of a mirror, but I mean, all those little scallops and troughs. All we see on the top is a mirror of what's on the bottom. So really good structure here today that we can kind of pick out. Really definitive too. And I'd say of all these little scallops, this deeper pocket here is what I'd be fishing. The scallops are great and fish kind of get in there for a little bit and come out, but this is where fish would hang out. You can see just the water is deeper, darker. Just provides a little more protection and I guess area for ambush. So really good spot, really good looking spot. The goal of it. So we'll start with just the easy stuff. Like when people talk about showing up at low tide and fishing through the high, one, fishing through the high is a good idea because it brings bait in as the tide rises, but specifically about reading the surf, you see right here in front of me, we've got a nice little trough, and it's so easy to see it here because the tide's actually starting to rise up, but I mean, it's right here in front of us, and it's tough to miss that. If you walk in there, you're gonna dip down a good maybe 8 to 10, maybe a foot. It looks like about a foot there. But to spot it, you can kind of see as the wave comes over it, given how shallow it is, you can actually still see it. But most of the time, you're gonna wanna be reading it as the water recedes, because as the water recedes, you'll see it kind of leaves an outline. One, the water within it will always look darker, and that's just because it's a little deeper, and it's called a trough, or any sort of deep pocket or hole. And you're really just fishing the structure, fishing the holes. So right here, you can see the outline. You see the ripples that it causes? It's almost like water is dipping in there, rolling over, and kind of just, it just looks disrupted. And that's what you're gonna look for, ideally out deeper. You'll be able to identify that. So up until about 20 feet in front of me, right where that wave is building and crashing right there. So that's where, up from me to there, it's completely flat. And then right when you hit that, right where that wave is building, that's in the deeper water. You've got a hole right in front of me, or you could say a trough that actually runs parallel this whole way. And I wouldn't actually call it a trough, I'd just call it a deep pocket because it looks really wide. You can see just the little billowy, directionless, I like to call them kind of wind ripples, but there's no wind right now. Almost no wind, at least not enough to be causing those wind ripples. This whole section right here is what you want to be fishing. This whole, just really nice deep pocket. And you can see past it, you could call that a sandbar, but really it's just a flat section. It does actually get really shallow, so that might technically be a sandbar. But you've got really nice shallow section right here, really a short to medium cast. Past that, you're not gonna really wanna be touching that. It's really a sandbar out there. But this deep pocket right here is really nice. So that's what I got for you on reading the surf. I hope it helps out. If you got any questions, drop them in the comments. Tight lines, guys.